Hi everybody, welcome to Dr. Manny's YouTube Learnshops, and today in this session we introduce you to the concept of social institutions. Now the learning objectives for this session are to define what a social institution is and list the five main agents of socialization, and to be able to describe the functions of the agents that relate to socialization. But we will be looking at them in more detail as we go through individually in other sessions and with other lecturers. So, we've already discussed what socialization is. Let's recap. Socialization is the process which is a lifespan by which society transmits its cultural values through institutions and agents. And typically it can consist of the agents which are family, education, religion, economics, government and politics. And there are more, as I've indicated. The social institutions typically are family, education, religion, economics and government, which we've already alluded to numerous times. So what's an institution? An institution is a social structure in which people cooperate and which influences the behaviour of people and the way they live. An institution has got a purpose. It's there for a reason. They're permanent, which means they don't end up going away when one person is gone. An institution has got rules and can enforce rules of human behaviour. Agents of socialization. And again, look, we repeat this over and over again, so it will stick into your head. Agents of socialization can be family, school, clubs, teams, ethnic and cultural backgrounds, workplace, mass media, political groups, religious groups, and peer groups. We don't cover all of them, but we do in certain different contexts. Here, when we talk about agents of socialization, when we talk about family, this could be related to language acquisition, rules, interactions, morals, models of behaviour. Peers, activities and trends. Religion, values, love, meaning of life. Government, laws. Sense of security, punishment, privileges. Media, stereotypes, trends, how to act. Work, employment, money, rules, roles. Ethnic background, beliefs, values and customs. Clubs and social groups. This is social interaction. School, grammar, rules, social settings and values. So, if we looked at family as a social institution, family is defined as a specific group of people that may be made up of partners, children, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins and grandparents. We'll look at this in more detail as an individual lecture. Family, as we've already said, is a social institution. Mother, father, son, daughter, role expectations as a wife or a husband. Children obey their parents, go to school, do their chores at home. Believe in each other. Blood is thicker than water. And they help one another. If we looked at a class activity, you think about this. What is the function of a family as a social institution? We're not going to discuss it, but you can think about it. Because again, you're going to have this concept as a topic in your written presentation and in your YouTube seminar presentation, some of you. What are some of the secondary family functions? Well, this deals with safety and security and protection, economic security, to make sure that you have a suitable lifestyle, emotional support. It provides a legitimate social status and develops interpersonal skills, as we've indicated previously. What about education as a social institution? True education is learning theoretical knowledge, but also about instilling ethical and moral values. It's about positive thinking, attitudes of helping, and attitudes of giving back to society. Education is a life learning continuum. Think about it. What's the function of education as a social institution? You think about it. Is it important? Does it have benefits? What are the functions of education then? It's to socialise students to become effective members of society. It's to transmit cultural knowledge from one generation to the next for the survival of society. It shapes values and attitudes to the needs of the contemporary society. What about religion? Religion as a social institution. Religion is an organised system of beliefs, ceremonies, rules used to worship a god or a group of gods, depending on the religion. Think about this. There are approximately 4,200 religions in the world. What's the role? What role does religion have as a social institution? Think about it. Well, the role of religion promotes social cohesion. What does that mean? It means it strengthens the bonds amongst people. It influences personality development and promotes welfare. It is a form of social control as well. It encourages social conformity to norms and values, and it promotes social self-control. It also provides emotional support, comfort, strength, hope in times of personal suffering and crisis. It calms fears of the unknown and explains events beyond the comprehension of man. What about economy as a social institution? Economy is the wise use of money, resource, and means of production. We looked at previously, we saw that there are typically two economies that are predominantly in the world, which is capitalism and socialism. But, as I alluded to earlier on as well, really we have three. Capitalism, communism, and in between, socialism. What's the function of economy, then, as a social institution? Think about it. Economy is a social institution. It's responsible for the production and distribution of goods and services that benefit people. As I indicated earlier, there are two dominant economic systems in the world. Capitalism, which is where resources and means of production are privately owned. Socialism, resources are owned by the society as a whole. If we looked at capitalism and socialism, capitalism, private ownership, socialism, public ownership. The in capitalism is profit. The motive in socialism is social welfare. The concentration of power is capitalist. In socialism, it's central to the authorities. In capitalism, there's an unequal distribution of income. In socialism, theoretically anyway, there's an equal distribution. In capitalism, the incentive encourages workers. In socialism, there's a lack of incentive. Theoretically here, if you don't own it, you're not going to work as hard. Therefore, in capitalism, the enterprise primarily is about individualism. In socialism, it's about government. Which economic system would you choose to work in? You think about it. Capitalism, socialism, communism. What about government as a social institution? A government is a group of people that governs or controls or dictates to a community. It sets and administers public policy and exercises executive, political and sovereign power through customs, institutions and laws within that state. What's the purpose of government then as a social institution? You think about it. Government as a social institution provides order as an institute trusted with making and enforcing the rules for a society, as well as regulating relations with other societies. In order to be considered a government, it must be recognised by the people that it intends to govern, which means typically the government has to be voted in. Otherwise it's a dictatorship. So in conclusion, again as I stated previously, MDJ 1632 will add to your knowledge base that you obtained in MDJ 1622 Behavioural Sciences. See? It's all about perspective and how you interpret things and how you think about things. I'm asking you to think about the institutions that relate to social sciences. This is a positive perspective. This is a negative perspective. School is not the end, but only the beginning of an education. Schools serve the same social functions as prisons and mental institutions to define, classify, control and regulate people. See? Again, it's your perspective. It's about what you believe to be true. Thanks again everybody. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you're interested in any other sessions, have a look at the Dr. Manny Learnshops on YouTube. They may interest you.